Hi everyone, I'm Jay Fadden. Thank you so much for joining us today on This Is the Day. We'll be in Canada. And Father, talking a little bit about media.
Yeah, Tim Hourihan is here with us. He's going to be sitting right here on the couch talking to us about the media ministry of St. Mary's Parish in Westfield, one of the most media-savvy parishes that I know. And also our friends Peter and Catherine Fournier are joining us, founders of DomesticChurch.com, and they're going to talk about celebrating the seasons of the church right there in the home.
Kevin, what we hear about in the news?
Jay, the Pope has named 24 new cardinals and 2 are from the United States. We'll have all the details on that. Also, we'll have reaction from Christians living in Jerusalem about the Synod for the Middle East taking place at the Vatican. And the Canon Law Society of America has elected a new president. All those stories ahead in the news, Jay.
All that and much more right now on This Is the Day. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Jay Fadden. Thank you so much for joining us today on This Is the Day. We are so glad that you're with us because we're going to have a great show, very exciting. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm joined by my great friends Kevin Nelson and Father Ree. How are you doing?
Good. That coffee's hot.
Is it hot today?
Yeah.
Well, in the Northeast, I know it's cold. I'm sure it's very cold in Canada.
Good to have a nice warm cup of coffee here in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee guy, you know.
I know that.
I have a coffee cup, but it has water in it.
Water.
Just so we're all clear about that. Hey, we have some congratulations out there, don't we?
Certainly do. Our great friend, dear friend of Catholic TV, Archbishop Donald Wuerl, the Archbishop of Washington, has been named to the College of Cardinals, as I'm sure you've probably heard, as well as Archbishop Raymond Burke. So we congratulate the 2 new cardinal designates, and we look forward to carrying the consistory November 20th, 21st, right here on Catholic TV.
And right before the program, and you'll see it actually during the program, is a great promo that Archbishop Wuerl did about welcoming people back, which is so important. It's something that we always like to do. But on today's program, one of the things we're going to talk about is media. And, you know, in today's world, it's really our responsibility as parents, if you're a parent, is to teach our children. That's our first responsibility. And a lot of times, kids are on social media, they're on their websites, and the beauty of it is that the Catholic Church is there too.
Yeah, and when Tim has a chance to come over and talk to us, you're going to learn about a parish, St. Mary's in Westfield, even though I said St. Parish.
I like that.
In the beginning.
That was something new.
But really, you know, Tim is, I would consider him to be an expert on the use of new media. He might not consider himself to be an expert, but I think he is. And he's been very good to Catholic TV in letting people in his parish and those with whom he has contact, particularly through Facebook, know about the things going on here at our network. And so it's going to be great to talk to Tim. And also Peter and Catherine, too, because their focus really is, you know, bringing the message of the gospel and the word of the gospel to the family. And really, parents are the first and the best teachers of the faith, so it'll be good to talk to them.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much. Always a pleasure to hear that news. We'll see you a little later on in the program. Joining us now is Tim Hourihan of St. Mary's Parish in Westfield, Massachusetts. Tim, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here because, first of all, I want to thank you publicly because you're very good to Catholic TV. You always put our stuff on your website and so on and so forth. So thank you for everything you do.
Yeah.
It means a lot to us.
You guys got a lot of tools that I like to use. We're Catholic Junior, or anytime you guys got something cool going on, I put it up on Facebook.
Yeah, oh, it's great.
I can tell you a funny story now. I went to Tim's Facebook page this morning, just minutes before the Mass. He had just walked in. He took a picture of the lobby, had it right up on Facebook.
Yep.
No slowing you down.
I said, we're here.
We're here. St. Mary's is one of the first churches in Western Mass to aggressively use new media to evangelize. How did your internet ministry come about? How did all that happen?
Well, the first part, it was we had a communications council that was putting together our actual just regular church website. And one of the things people talked about was wanting to try to get the gospel up. And I just approached Father Brian McGrath one day after Mass, and it was actually because we started on Palm Sunday. And I came up to him and I said, I told him kind of how simple it was. And he just looked at me, and this is where I always give credit to Father Brian, because he was the one who basically had the trust in me. He just looked me dead in the eye and goes, $500, camera, get it done. And you know, the following was Palm Sunday, so we had up, and it started with that, and then me and the associate pastor, Father James Lounge, we met and we started talking about doing other things, putting stuff up about the sacraments and so forth. And the whole idea of my generation being media savvy, I said, we got to put stuff up because we basically had the YouTube account. And it just grew from there. I mean, we put sacrament confession on, marriage, and before you know it, we're a year and a half out and we have 40,000 hits on our videos by themselves, and our channel by itself has got like 8,000 hits, and it keeps growing. And we've featured a lot of stuff too from out in this area, like John Niven and Lyft.
Sure.
Oh, sure,
We've come
yeah.
out here, and he's been one of our bigger hits that we've done shots of videos, and same thing. He's just like, thanks for doing the footage. I'm like, thanks for doing what you do.
Now, Tim, one of the ways you're using the media, new media, is Facebook with an upcoming event with Sarah Hart. Can you tell us all about that?
Yeah, that came about off of the same thing with talking with Father Jim of trying to expand off of this. And one of our biggest things always coming out to go to Lift Ministries out there at the Football Academy. I said, we could do this over here in Western Mass. So Advent was coming up, and we said, kind of almost as your previous guy said, it's one of the things, it's one of the seasons that we as Catholics, we get kind of caught up in the whole season of the fact that you blow by, it's Thanksgiving, and boom, it's Christmas, and there's no time to stop and reflect on the Advent season. And that's basically where the whole idea of with Sarah Hart came. We picked Sarah for a number of reasons. I mean, her beautiful voice and her music ministry, but she's also been out in Springfield twice for the Catholic Women's Conference. So in some ways we knew it was kind of like the hot ticket to actually bring out because everyone already knew about her. And so we're gonna have her out there on the first week of Advent. We're gonna start there that first Friday, December 3rd at 6:30, right inside the church, and hoping to pack the church to the rafters.
Mm-hmm. And I think we can see Sarah right here performing a little bit. So what will the whole evening consist of? She'll be performing what else?
It'll basically be mostly her performing and then her reflecting on her songs.
Okay.
She basically, when I presented it to her, basically through Facebook, when I presented it to Sarah, and she's like, beautiful, she goes, I actually have a program that I do specifically during Advent season. It's called Waiting for the Light. Mm-hmm. And that's basically, you'll see it on the website that we call it Waiting for the Light with Sarah Hart. And it's a lot of reflection on the songs and her sharing of her music, which is just beautiful by itself. And I think in some ways it's a big thing of actually you're trying to talk about trying to get something during Advent for the families. That's the reason why we made it $5 a ticket, because we want entire families to come, to basically be able to have it, to actually have that moment where you're sitting in the church community outside of Sunday Mass and looking around, surrounded by fellow believers in a setting like that, and being serenaded with beautiful music and praise and worship of the Lord.
Now, I'm impressed by your use of media, especially for your parish and for the church, but can you just tell us a little bit about your work and your family?
Well, I'm actually an accountant by trade.
Okay.
I work for Pignatar and Sagan out in West Springfield. That's one of the funny things is, because I've gotten into doing this, is like I've helped out on a couple other ones out in our area. Like I've helped out with Bethlehem House, which is a pro-life center. But the funny thing is, like, Father Jim has put me out there sometimes as being like this media savvy guy, and I'm like, I'm an accountant by trade. I don't do this for a living. I think a part of it is just our generation. I'm 35 this month. It's one of the things that you just kind of learn as you go by. And I'm married. I have two beautiful boys, 6 and 4. And live out in Western Mass. I've actually, grew up in Western Mass, worked out here for a little while out here in Boston area, but, always love my hometown back out there.
Well, that's where your heart is. Where can people find out more about the tickets and learn about the event?
For the event, we have a website that we set up. It's called praisewitnessworship.com. And it's for, we basically, you have it on there where it talks about the ministry that we've set up. Also, if you've haven't heard Sarah's music too, I have loaded a bunch of songs on there so you can actually listen to a bunch of her music as it's going. And then off of there's a link that you click on and you basically go to the ticket office and buy. Yeah, because typical Americans that nobody really wants to get out of their house to go and get a ticket, that they can actually sit there in the comfort of their home and with a click of a mouse.
PraiseWitnessWorship.com.
PraiseWitnessWorship.com. It was the easy way that we came up with the name of the ministry.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for being with us. Keep up the great work, and we'll have to have you back again because it's just fun talking to you.
Definitely.
And we have more fun coming this way, so stay with us here on This Is Day. We'll be back right after this. Great job.
Thank you.